Okay, we're going to play a little game here today. Have a little fun, a little connect the dots, and major stories here. And it's quite fascinating. The media has their inability to kind of put things together and how they're related, and they are. Everything from the dust up on the House floor yesterday to the state visit by Prime Minister Modi to China, state capitalism. You're like, Markowski, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell does one have to do with the other? A lot. First and foremost, we have India. India is obviously front and center. Many publications putting out editorials. New York Times had a couple today that were very telling us to kind of be cautious in regards to India because Prime Minister Modi is a right of center prime minister, and they don't like many of the initiatives and the things that he is doing in India, and they don't like the fact that he is, he kind of takes his religion seriously in regards to Hindu. And again, it's been a while, but I studied it back when I was in college. It's different than what we have here. There's no doubt about it. But then, so what? What business is it of ours? I find this fascinating because, again, you look at the New York Times article and many others. Oh, we got to be careful of these. They call themselves democracies, but they're right of center. And they point out Poland and Hungary. And there was a couple others as well. Oh, Israel as well. They don't like those democracies. The favorability ratings for Modi in India are off the charts, just so you know. Off the charts. I've said this again and again and again. And I don't believe that we should be meddling in the affairs of other nations. Just don't. You can go back, go diplomatic history, the Treaty of Westphalia, which ended a war that claimed some 8 million lives in Europe. It's mid 1600s, I can't remember the exact year from the treaty, and basically kind of modernized Europe to some degree. And the fact that all these warring nations said, okay, listen, okay, we're not going to meddle in each other's affairs, and we're going to try to balance everything out. And it held for a period of time. But anyway, neither here nor there. The idea that we should be meddling in the affairs of other nations is ridiculous. I think, and again, we're going to play connect the dots, and we're going to go from story to story. Don't we have enough problems here on our own? Do we not have enough problems here on our own? Did you happen to see what took place on the floor of the House yesterday? Do we seem like a very serious nation? Yeah, you got two Republicans there. What was it? Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She called someone a little bitch in regards to articles of impeachment. Then you have the Democrats surrounding McCarthy in regards to the censure of Adam Schiff, and they're chanting shame, shame, shame. Do we look like we are a very serious nation? Not to me. Not to me. Again, all of these things that are taking place. China. Not a day doesn't go by on some of the big networks out there where they're warning us about the threat of China and what China is doing around the globe, and how we need to be afraid, and we got to watch out because communism is going to take over. And again, I made this point clear. No, it's not. No, it's like give me an example in history. Okay, communism hasn't been around for that long. Well, you can go back socialism to some degree, but anyway, where it's been successful. It's not. It's not. And again, this goes to state capitalism. State capitalism, whatever you want to call it, doesn't work. state capital. You want to call it state capital because that's in essence what China has. It's not a truly communist nation. The Communist Party is in charge. And that's the direction that our current crop of characters wants to take us. They want their entire belief system, the people that's in power, the Biden administration, that they should be engineering things. Our economy needs to be tinkered with by the folks in Washington, D.C. And again, that's wrong. Not even tinkered with. Needs to be managed, needs to be driven by the folks in Washington, D.C. Back in April, again, this is White House National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan. He gave a speech at the Brookings Institution. And basically what he wants to do, and he said he wants, the Biden administration's there to put a permanent U.S. industrial policy in place where the government leads and everyone else follows. This is from a Daniel Henniger piece. America, Mr. Sullivan said, needs a deliberate, hands-on investment strategy to pull forward innovation, drive down costs, and create good jobs. A modern American industrial strategy identifies specific sectors that are foundational to economic growth, strategic from a national security perspective, and where private industry on its own isn't poised to make the investments needed to secure our national ambitions. And he cites the massive subsidies that China has made in the key industries of the future: clean energy, digital infrastructure, advanced biotechnologies. Yeah, like the Wuhan lab. This is admiration by Jake Sullivan. And this is what the left has. Again, I always go back to Thomas Friedman on Meet the Press, kind of hoping and praying that Barack Obama had the power of the Communist Party to get things done that he thought that things that needed to be done. The arrogance, again, it's the arrogance of these people that are in DC. And you want to put this in perspective. You look at the clowns on the floor of the House, how embarrassing this is to the rest of the world. You think this crop of characters can manage an industrial policy for a nation? Did you have any idea how difficult that is? I mean, you've got people that have been involved in business, screwing up left, right, all over the place. Target, Anheuser-Busch, Disney, weighing into things and hurting their brands and hurting their companies. You think you know what's going to happen next, and you're going to be able to control that? Not to mention the fact that certain parties have tie-ins with union groups that would be vehemently against any sort of artificial intelligence type of investments in increasing productivity. For example, you take a look at some of these strikes we're seeing at the ports. And one of the main reasons they're striking is they don't like the technology. It's too efficient. Too efficient. People are going to lose their jobs. You think that politics should be involved in business. It shouldn't. Politics screws things up when it comes to business. It changes the ebb and flow of the natural dynamics of the free market every single time. This is why college education is so expensive. Government had to step in, had to start subsidizing it, had to get involved. Housing, myriad of different things. We talk about regulatory capture here in this country and regulations that are written, why we have too big to fail. The fact that you've got a country coming here, okay, and we made our mistakes foreign policy-wise when it comes to India, and this is going back to the mid-1960s, and then again at the Nixon administration, where we can foster a better relationship with a young democracy. What I mean by young is demographics are pretty darn good there. They got a lot of young people there in that country, and they're going to, world's most populous democracy. It would be great to be doing business with them. And to continue to, try to push into these new areas where, like I said, rising tide lifts all boats. And the same thing holds true, in my belief, with China. You don't want China to do poorly. You want them to do well. You want them to do well. You want the wealth of their nation to increase, because then again, that's what's going to actually foster the type of change that we'd like to see. It's not going to be done via lectures. Doesn't work that way. We can lecture until we're blue in the face and do all sorts of things. It's not going to do a darn thing. Again, you get all of these state capitals pointing to China in their model. I don't know if they fully recognize what's going on right now in China's economy. We talked about this. They've had to lower rates. They're going to have to pump out more money in terms of stimulus just to keep the economy afloat. Their unemployment rate is through the roof. The real estate market is in absolute disarray. Why? That's state capitalism for you. That's when you've got people that are not very bright, that really don't know, try to manage something out of some capital somewhere. I do declare, I do decree. I've talked about this before here on the program. It was a short story that came out in the 1950s. It was titled "I Pencil." And this short story, basically, I'll make it quick, is about this guy owns a pencil company, and it demonstrates that the guy who owns a pencil company, something as simple as a pencil, has no clue how many people are directly, indirectly involved with the manufacture of that pencil and all of the little side businesses and everything that goes along with that. And again, I describe, the free market, the economy, it's like nature. It can't be controlled. It can't. And when, you take a look, if you're trying to put together an algebraic equation, right? You have to have some values here, there, and everywhere, right? You can't just be x times y times q equal. You can't, because you don't. What are these values? What do they mean? And that's what we're looking at when it comes to the economy or anything else. You have to have values, and artificial intelligence, human beings are just guessing. They're just guessing. That there's no way that you're able to determine what is going to happen, how people are going to spend, what they're going to do on any given day. I don't care how fast your computer is. It's just not going to work that way. So again, my point being this: you've got all of these things that are taking place, all of these stories that are out there, and they are connected. They are. And what I'm trying to get across is, we need to focus on ourselves. I said this again and again and again. We're going to do more. We're going to do more to influence change around the globe when we present ourselves as the shining city on the hill. That's going to be a hell of a lot more effective than giving lectures and telling people what they should be doing in their country and how they need to improve. The old mind your P's and Q's, mind your own business. If we just paid mind to our own business rather than everyone else's, again, guess what? These countries are going to look at us and say, you know what? We want to be more like them. We like what's going on there. Again, what do we demonstrate on the world stage yesterday? Everybody sees, a bunch of children running around on the house floor. Just saying. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.